How's it going, everyone? We are back to once again look at PlayStation's 30th anniversary sale. Now, yesterday we did a video highlighting some deals under $2, and it was a lot of new titles, games that I typically don't mention, and I'm gonna try to do a better job of covering games like that. I got a couple of ideas, irons in the fire. Just give me some time as far as creating some of that content. I've seen the comments for a long time. However, generally when we do reiterate some of the best deals that I am more so familiar with, those videos still do pretty well, and there's always a new audience that gets engaged to newer titles. I get it that for those of you watching our channel for a very long time, that some of it can be a little bit redundant, but I'm gonna be trying my best to, add a little bit of variety. But with that being said, we're gonna be highlighting some deals under $5, and guess what, you guys? We gonna be doing some reiterating, so, go check out yesterday's video and go look forward to some of the future content that I do have planned. And, sometimes I got ideas, sometimes I plan things and they don't come to fruition. Fingers crossed, got a lot of things going on right now, so, I'll try to get to what I can get to. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Deals under $5, and let's start things off with a game that I think is really relevant right now. Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition. A lot of attention around Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, as that game is actually coming out a week earlier than we had expected. Its release date got moved up. That is going to be the follow-up title to this, so certainly do play Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition. 90% off for $3.99 is a tremendous deal. Do I wish that Warhorse would go back and upgrade this game on PS5, add some quality of life improvement? Sure. Hopefully they do implement a lot of that into KCD 2, but KCD 1 still offers a very unique historical themed RPG that I felt was great from a setting standpoint, really solid from a narrative standpoint. Some of the gameplay is obviously fairly janky, and the performance isn't ideal, but for $3.99, this is still a stellar deal, so definitely check that out. Speaking of games where the performance wasn't ideal, Assassin's Creed Unity is at its lowest price ever, 85% off for $4.49. Now, I played through AC Unity when it came out back in 2014, and I want to say I did like another playthrough of it either in 2016 or 2017. However, this is a game that I've been meaning to go back and give another full playthrough, really sit down and enjoy it. Because when AC Unity initially came out, the general consensus and my experience with it from a technical standpoint was a train wreck. This game was an abomination. However, it's got a really cool setting, and for $4.49, this is a really good pickup. And you guys know me, I am partial towards the Assassin's Creed titles of old, and this is still very much an Assassin's Creed title of old, and sub $5 for that seems like a really good deal. Dying Light, 80% off for $3.99. Tremendous deal on a great open world action adventure title. Action platforming, really, when you look at the parkour gameplay. Unfortunately, this is not the Enhanced Edition nor the Definitive Edition. This is the base game, but for $3.99, still an excellent open-world action. You can call it a survival horror game. It really isn't that when you look at it from the sense of instilling fear into the gamer. That's not happening here. This is more action-oriented, but I think it's really well done. For $3.99, great pickup there. Next up, we got Axiom Verge, 75% off for $4.99. When Axiom Verge came out, the market wasn't so oversaturated with all of these Metroidvania-esque games, and I found Axiom Verge to be quite an impressive game, especially given the fact that it was done by just one person. And at this point, there are a lot of quality Metroidvanias, but I still think Axiom Verge is a solid one to go back and give another playthrough of. If you like your Super Nintendo era titles, this is going to be something that is going to be right up your alley, and you're going to enjoy it quite a lot. So for $4.99, not a bad deal there. Next up, a game that I talk about ad nauseum and always recommend. Sleeping Dogs, the Definitive Edition, is 85% off for $4.49. Just a tremendous open world action title. A little bit of beat 'em up gameplay, if you want to call it that. Like, more emphasis on the hand-to-hand combat rather than, being a third-person shooter like a GTA is, so to speak. But more contained as far as the open world goes, and I make the GTA comparison because that's often a comparison that you see with Sleeping Dogs. However, I really don't feel like that's apt. I feel like Sleeping Dogs really found an identity for itself. Again, being a little bit more gritty, having a more mature story, and having a lot of emphasis in the main character and his character arc, I thought was really well done. For $4.49, it's great, and super underrated soundtrack in Sleeping Dogs as well. It doesn't get enough love for its excellent soundtrack, but it's exactly that. It's excellent as far as sound design goes. Want to give a shout out to a couple Castlevania collections. We got Castlevania Requiem, Symphony of the Night, and Rondo of Blood. This is one that I always recommend. Symphony of the Night is one of the most iconic Castlevania games of all time. Then you do have the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. By the way, these are $3.99 a pop. You got Castlevania, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Dracula's Curse, Super Castlevania 4, Castlevania The Adventure, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, Castlevania Bloodlines, Kid Dracula, and then the History of Castlevania Book of the Crescent Moon is there as well. $3.99, a lot of throwback content, obviously a little bit dated, as is Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood, but, you know, if you want to go back and check these out, $3.99 a pop for those is pretty good. Darksiders Warmastered Edition is $3.99. I really like Darksiders, and this is a game that I initially played back when it came out in January of 2010. Remember it because randomly Darksiders and I think it was Bayonetta came out on the same day. Bayonetta got a lot more attention than Darksiders. The people that played Darksiders, the often comparison that you would see is, oh, it's Legend of Zelda mixed with God of War. God of War at that time, you know, different era of God of War, which I do feel like I understand why that comparison is made. You're just setting the bar way too high by comparing Darksiders to Legend of Zelda as well as God of War, because it's not at that level. What it is a really well done action title with some interesting puzzles, cool setting, cool story, a little bit dated visually, of course, being damn near 15 years old, but a worthwhile game, and I think for $3.99, a solid pickup there for sure. Next up, we got Just Cause 3 XXL Edition, 86% off for $4.19, an open world game that I feel like is always easy to recommend. Over-the-top action mayhem, no emphasis, or, you know, it's not like you're gonna get invested into the narrative or anything like that. You are playing this game purely for the over-the-top, explosion-ridden gameplay, and it's just absolute chaos is what Just Cause 3 is going to offer you. But if you want a game that you can kind of just mentally check out and just do wild things in an open world, Just Cause 3 is always going to offer you that. And for the XXL edition, you got some DLC in there as well: air, land, and sea expansion, weaponized vehicle pack, explosive weapon pack, Reaper missile mech, and a rifle as well. All that for $4.19, and the game itself already a sizable amount of content in an open world game, so definitely check that out. Next up, we got Dragon's Crown Pro, 80% off for $3.99. While I do think this is Vanillaware's weakest outing as far as their games are concerned, I think all of their games are pretty damn good, so that's not even saying that much. Dragon's Crown, I still think, is a solid action RPG. Still has the fundamental elements of a Vanillaware title that you'll appreciate: the great art style, solid soundtrack, aesthetically, just a well-done game. Gameplay is fine, it's totally serviceable, and it's not blow away from a narrative standpoint. Like, you look at some of their narratives they put out recently, Unicorn Overlord was pretty solid, and even more so 13 Sentinels. Like, they've really leveled up from a storytelling standpoint, and that obviously isn't represented in Dragon's Crown as much, to say the least. So $3.99 for that, though, is still a pretty solid deal. Cat Quest is $3.24. Always like to give a recommendation to Cat Quest because I just feel like it's a super accessible game. Anybody can really get into it, and if you need something that's a polar opposite from the Souls-likes you're playing and something a little bit more relaxed and easygoing, Cat Quest is going to offer you exactly that. And for $3 and change, it's a charming RPG that's not super lengthy, but well worth it as far as a playthrough is concerned. And next up, we got Wizard of Legend, 70% off for $4.79. Over-the-top action mayhem gameplay, very much focused on wizardry and magical combat and things of that nature. Throwback pixel visual look can get a little bit challenging, but overall did enjoy my time with it when it came out. And if you do want to play a co-op, that option is available to you as well for $4.79. Not a bad deal there, especially if you like that throwback aesthetic. You'll enjoy that quite a lot. And then lastly, Need for Speed Heat Deluxe Edition is 95% off for $3.49. I don't know why they've suddenly started to put such a deep discount on Need for Speed Heat randomly, but you'll see this deal, and it's just a ridiculous deal. Need for Speed Heat is a solid arcade racer and one of the better Need for Speed titles in recent memory. I feel like Need for Speed is so up and down. Some of the games are good, other games are not so great. And then you've got, like, games that are really solid, like Need for Speed Heat, that come out, don't get a ton of fanfare, but now for $3.49, if you remotely want just a fun arcade racer, this is a great pickup. And not only that, it is the deluxe edition, so you do get some bonuses with this edition of the game. Nothing too crazy, really just some in-game items and things of that nature, but for $3.49, great pickup there. Definitely give that a look for that price point. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals across the board, under $5. Again, doing my best as far as covering other titles and mentioning some other games, and I'm going to try to get better at that going forward and into 2025. I got some ideas, some irons in the fire, so to speak, so maybe you'll see that executed probably in the not too distant future. So that being said, you got your Kingdom Come Deliverances, Dying Lights, Axiom Verges, Sleeping Dogs. All of those deals are always fantastic and will continue to be mentioned on this channel. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.